This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, hey, it's so good to see you again. I'm all mixed up. I've been gone a week. I was on vacation, had a great time, but now I'm back. And the show today, let's see, the date is September 25th, 2012. Well, guess what? It's Dead Celebrity Day. We haven't had that for a while. Today we're going to look for Sylvia Plath. She was the poet who died young. She put her head in the oven and killed herself. We're going to see if we can reach her. This should be cool. In the meantime, let me just give you a phone number. I've got one free line there. So why don't you call it? This is all countries. You can talk to me on air about your problems, your issues, people dead or alive, whatever. The number is 1-230-3062. And again, it's 1-230-3062. And you might want to grab that line while it's still free. Before we get started on looking for Sylvia, I want to just mention something that happened, let's see, when was it? It was 2 weeks ago now. Do you remember the show we had? That would have been in September 2012, but I'm not sure the date. September 11th, she tells me. We had Ashley on air. She was asking me a question or questions. She was the lady, I think she's 25, 24, something like that. Not married to, but her boyfriend is 25 years older, remember? And I saw him with a great big beer belly, and she said, yeah, he has one. I saw a cigarette dangling out of his lips, and she said, yeah, that's him. And I believe he owned a bar, right? And I talked to her about this, and I can't remember what we said, but here's what I got from her as an email. By the way, I love to hear your emails, or read your emails and read them on air when you don't mind. But anyway, she said, Dear Venus, I spoke to you on air on September 11th, 2012. At that time, I asked you to see what you could determine was going on between my much older boyfriend and me. You told me that you were giving me the permission I felt I needed to look into other options besides him. Well, she says, 4 days later, I met someone else, and by all appearances, they seem to be everything I have been craving and wanting in a partner. Icing on the cake is that the new guy is only 2 years my senior, not 25 years older like my current beau. I still haven't left the older guy, so I'm just taking my time trying to move things along at just the right time. But my question is, did you have something to do with this? Maybe I'm insane, but I don't really believe in coincidences, and I can't help but feel maybe you put some positive energy in love out there for me. You didn't do a mojo on air with me, but something is definitely different. Either way, thank you, Venus. So, that's what I do. In case you haven't heard me before, or you haven't listened to me or worked with me on the phone or on air, that's what I do. I work to see what people are thinking and feeling, dead or alive. I work to help you clarify situations, and I work to help things change for the better, if necessary. Just to kind of sum it all up. So, I'm not really surprised. I'm delighted. I'm happy. And we'll see where this goes. But what I'm seeing now, Ashley, is a picture of you being shaken up like a martini in a glass. And one of those bottles they shake them in. Your life is being shaken up. So you could think about different things, see different things. Other things could come in. And, sometimes that's scary. In my own life, things are changing and happening. And I always say I love change. I love it. I'm not afraid of it. But, wow, sometimes the things that are happening or about to happen, they do kind of put the cold wind through your ears. So, but in your case, Ashley, I think it's really good. And thank you so much for writing me about that. So let's get going here with Sylvia Plath. Now, Sylvia, let me see. She was born in 1932 and she died in 1963. So she was quite young. And I was just reading a few notes about her on the web so I could give you a little background, and it's more fascinating than I thought. She was born to middle-class parents in Massachusetts. She published her first poem when she was 8 years old. And apparently she was sensitive, intelligent, perfection. She liked that perfection in everything. A model daughter, popular in school, straight A's, winning prizes. Went to Smith College, and she'd already published a lot of things, and she'd already written over 400 poems. That was in 1950. And then, but apparently her surface perfection was underlain, they said, by grave personal discontinuities. And they felt, a lot of people felt this happened because when she was 8 years old, her father died suddenly. And he had been a college professor and an expert on bees. But yeah, I think when your father dies or leaves when you're that young, it does do something to you. But she went to Smith during her junior year. She was a student guest editor at Mademoiselle magazine. And then she nearly succeeded in killing herself by swallowing sleeping pills. And she talked about this experience in an autobiographical novel. You probably heard of The Bell Jar, B-E-L-L, The Bell Jar, that was published in 1963. Anyway, she graduated from Smith with honors and won a full scholarship, Fulbright, to study at Cambridge, England. And in 1956, here things start to get more interesting, she married the English poet Ted Hughes, and she got another book published. And she and Hughes settled for a while in an English country town in Devon. But less than 2 years after the birth of their first child, the marriage broke apart. And then in the winter of 1962-63, one of the coldest in centuries, Sylvia was living in a small London flat with 2 children, and she was sick with flu and low on money. And the hardness of her life seemed to increase her need to write. And she often worked between 4 and 8 in the morning before the children woke. You know, I remember being divorced, like around that age, and having summer and really low on money and living in a crummy, dark little place. And, you know, I know how she must have felt, but apparently she felt even worse because on February 11th, 1963, she killed herself. She put her head in the oven and killed herself with her 2 little kids sleeping in the room right next to her. Can you imagine? One was a baby and one just a bit older. But it gets even more interesting. Ted, her husband, was a poet. And they think what caused Sylvia to finally give in to her depression and her problems was he left her when, I don't know if her second baby was even born yet or not, because I didn't find that out. But he left her for a woman named Assia, A-S-S-I-A, Weevil. Believe it or not, that's her name, Assia Weevil, who was the wife of another poet. And then, get this, 6 years later, after he'd married her and after Sylvia killed herself by putting her head in the gas oven, his wife Assia gassed herself and their daughter, Sarah, in a copycat suicide. Wow! And then when her son Nicholas, who was a baby at the time, Sylvia killed herself, when he was 47, he committed suicide by hanging. So, you think you have a tough life. I think we all do in our own ways, but wow, that kind of pulled me up short. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look for Sylvia, and we're going to see how she's doing. And for those of you who haven't heard me do this before, I'll just say that what I'm going to do is what I do with you when I work on the radio or when I work with you on a private phone session, because I do a lot of private phone sessions. And you can find out about that on my website, godisalwayshappy.com, godisalwayshappy.com. I'm just sort of mumbling along here a bit with things because when I go to look for somebody, it takes sometimes a little while for it to come together. So what I'm doing is I'm calling for Sylvia Plath. And I normally see people, they either come to me or brought to me as in kind of like a vestibule. And I see it either out in front of me or in my head. Different dimension, though. It's not like you're sitting right next to me or they're sitting there chewing gum, you know, in the flesh. It's not like that. Not normally. So I'm looking for Sylvia. I'm looking for Sylvia. And I see a woman here. And you know it's not Sylvia. Holy smokes. It's that other woman. You know, the one, the Weevil, Asia Weevil. And she's holding a baby. Now, I have no idea how old her daughter was, whether she was a baby or older, or maybe she was pregnant. I don't know, but this woman is holding a baby. And I'm really surprised because I didn't expect to see her. But since she's here, so Asia, is there something you'd like to say, you'd like to tell us? She says, I'm not at fault. She said that a lot of the reason that she killed herself and her child was that people said it was her fault, and not only that, I don't know if that man is still alive or not. So I don't know if I should say this, but she's telling me she felt, or he said that she was also to blame. Listen, I don't know anything about this, but what I just told you, so I don't know what's going on here. I'm as shocked as you are, and so it's like she couldn't deal with it anymore. And and part of it was she wanted to get even with him for something, and I don't know what that's all about either. And she said, I did it without thinking, and yet I did think about it. She says, I thought about it, but then I just did it. And I'm saying, wow, well, how do you feel about it now? And she said, well, I shouldn't have done it. It wasn't right. I shouldn't have taken my daughter with me. I wasn't in my right mind. And she says, I understand Sylvia now. She wasn't in her right mind either. And she's talking about Sylvia and just saying that Sylvia had a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and that she understands more now that she's passed over. This woman is telling, this Asia Weevil is telling me that she had a really tough time after she married Ted or got with Ted, because it was all on her. She felt that she took on the burden of Sylvia's death, and it really, according to her, it ruined her life. So, well, Asia, thank you very much for showing up. I didn't expect you at all. I'm wondering if we can talk to Sylvia now. If I'm going to go look for her, if you don't mind. So, Sylvia, are you out here? Sylvia. Okay, I do feel I have Sylvia now. She looks very bright. Glowing. She comes to me very bright, showing me that she's fine. She's fine. She's very fine now. Can I talk to you, Sylvia? Can you just come down a little bit? She's up at a different level than I'm looking. So I'm asking her to come down a bit so where I can join her and talk with her. So, Sylvia, is there anything you want to say about what happened in your life or to anybody? She says, it's true, I was very troubled. She said, the problem was I was too smart. She says, I was too brilliant or bright. Everybody said so. And she said, I was able to think in many different ways and places. And she said, I would go often into dark places. And that's where she would get a lot of ideas for her poetry. And it kind of took her over. That's interesting. And she said, yes, I also did have the tendencies. The way my mind was, she said, you would say today that I had depression, that I would needed drugs, that, and oh, by the way, I'm just saying this as an aside, in my research, she got electroshock therapy and that kind of thing. So I'm coming back to her now. And she said that it's like she was splintered in her thinking. She would go here, she would go there, but she spent too much time in the there parts, the darker parts. But she said, I couldn't help it. I didn't know how to do otherwise. It's the way my mind was working. And she's talking about her children that she left behind, and she said, I did it without thinking. Again, like Asa, she said she thought about it. She tried it before, but it was like spur of the moment. Bam! She did it. The kids were quiet. They were in bed. She was left alone to think, and it was cold and dark and dreary, and she was thinking things like, I wonder what this would be like. And it's like she didn't even really plan to do it, but it's like she opened the oven or she did something and put her head in, turned on the gas, something, and before she knew it, she was out. She was just sort of testing it. And I don't know, my thought comes to me as, well, if she had the gas on and was doing all this, why didn't it kill the kids too? So somebody must have found her soon enough or blow the place up. I don't know the answer to that. She doesn't seem to have it either, but I'm like, wow. anything else you want to tell us before I move on here? Anybody? Asia is still there. How do you feel about Asia? Asia? How do you feel about her coming between you and Ted? She said, oh, it would have happened anyway. She said the marriage was disintegrating before that. She just had too many issues and problems, and she thought he had some too, tell you the truth. But you're happier there, right? I know you're happy. I want to get back to Asia. Are you happy, Asia? Are you okay now? She says, I'm doing better. She says, I'm doing better. I'm understanding more. I'm just thanking them both for coming to be with us, and I'm just going to leave them there now and get back here. Well, I don't know about you, but that was surprising to me. You never know what you're going to find when you talk to dead people. I've had people ask me quite a bit, and I think about it too. What happens to dead people? And it's like the beings told me all different things, just like all different kinds of things happen to living people. A lot of people think when you're dead, you know everything. You're like born again. You're at the feet of God. They have all these ideas. Well, I tend to think that maybe you get whatever you think you're going to get. I also think that in a lot of ways, it's not a whole lot different over there than it is here. I think that when we die, we have our lives continue, and we have things to do and things to work out, and it's just we don't have a body, the same kind of body. But I don't necessarily believe that all is cupcakes and gold coins, I don't think so. Can be, but I've read a lot of dead people, and I hear all different kinds of things and see a lot. I mean, like today. That was a surprise to me, but the girls are fine, the ladies are fine, and everything's all right, you get it worked out. All right, well, I gotta take a little break here and get my mind back, because I gotta get to work with you out there in Radio Land when I come back. I'm going to take some calls and see if I can read the chat room here. We have a great chat room. Check it out, on the live show, because they have a good time over there. And sometimes, if I have time, I'm able to read for people over there or do other things. But I'll be right back. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Do you know that all of the Dear Venus shows are archived? You can listen to them anytime. To find the Dear Venus Show with Venus Andrecht on iTunes podcasts, the archived shows, or to have the current show emailed to you each week, go to Venus's website at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. Click on the radio section on the homepage. That's all there is to it. You can have Venus with you anytime, all the time. You may start to feel like she's moved in with you. You can find her archived shows at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com in the radio section on the homepage.
Venus has become a little gnome in the back room, busily painting switches for your wall lights and 6x8-inch Good Luck Mojo paintings. Why? Because she started painting light switches for people who listen to her Dear Venus show. Every time you turn on these light switches, you turn on the good mojo energy. Well, the wall plates are a big hit, and Venus can barely keep up with the demand. You can see and purchase them on her artmojos.com website. And many of you have asked Venus to paint smaller, good mojo art so you can put it up in your office cubicles, your car, smaller rooms in your house, and so you can carry it around with you. So now the gnome named Venus is busy making little 6x8-inch paintings filled with light and good energy of all different types and kinds. When you purchase any painting, you can email Venus exactly the kind of mojo you want put into it, and she'll put it there personally just for you. She'll write it on the back of the painting too, no matter what the size. To see the 6x8-inch paintings and all of her paintings, plus the light switches, please go to artmojos.com. That's artmojos.com.
You know what Venus's mojos are. They are the benevolent energies her mother taught her to pull from the universe. The good energy mojos of all different kinds that help people in all different ways. Venus gathers these energies up from the universe and tosses various ones to all of you each week on this radio show. On her website, Venus has 8 more pretty impressive mojos that have garnered many happy testimonials. Mojos that she has taped with extra added energy and had them each set to special music and turned into MP3s. You can purchase these MP3s off Venus's website for a nominal fee and listen to them over and over again. Venus currently has a special running on all 8 mojos for $20 off. You can find these mojos on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. And there are more unique mojos coming as MP3s, so be sure and check back off into Venus's site, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com.
Are you ready to stop suffering over men? Are you seriously ready to be happy? Are you ready to have a great love life? Venus finally found the answers for an emotionally happy love life. She wrote the 5-star book about how you, too, can change your life with certain men, or even certain women. In it, you'll read the horrifying and funny true stories of Venus's former love life, and the true tales of many of her friends and clients, and how they all finally escaped the crying, whining, moaning, emotional trap to find real love and happiness. The ebook is titled Certain Men, How to Unlove Them, Unneed Them, and Replace Them with a Good Guy. It works with certain women, too. People say this book has saved their lives. You can read the first chapter on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You can find Certain Men as an inexpensive ebook at all the online bookstores. Certain Men. Are you ready to give them the boot? Are you ready for good love? Certain Men, the ebook by Venus Andrecht, now available at all online bookstores.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi. Wow, welcome back. I just hit myself in the teeth with my microphone. They're still here, though. They're all mine. Okay, next show. Next show is October 2nd, 2012. Here's the title, Where the Men Are. You know, recently, a few blogs or more back, I did a show about where the men are in my town. We're going to talk about where you might find them, or women too, whatever you want. What I'd like you to do is email me and tell me where you find men or women, where you find your relationships. Give us some ideas. I've got a lot, but let's add to it, shall we? You can reach me at venus@venusandrecht.com, or you can reach me on my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. So do it, and we'll just put them all together, and we'll have a good time next week with that. And let's see, the blog. We were just talking about my blogs on the chat room over here. The last blog I had while I was gone, I was going to say out of the country, but no, I was up in Napa, the wine country, and so I put a blog up about another vacation I'd had called my Enema Vacation. And some people think it was screamingly funny. Well, maybe to you, but I had to live it. But yes, and I have a new blog coming up. It will be up, let's see, tomorrow, Wednesday, and I call it the Cupcake Girls. That's what we call ourselves, the girlfriends who go off every year together. But to find my blog, you need to go to GodIsAlwaysHappy.com/blog. And on any article you see there, and if you want to sign up so you get them automatically, you don't want to miss one, do you? Just look for RSS. I believe it's in orange lettering. Fill in your email address, and you get it every Wednesday or Thursday. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it. So take a chance. And if you do like my blogs, please mail them on to your friends. Email them on, because I'm just doing this for the fun of it, to help cheer up the world. I think I might as well, even though I do a lot of crazy things, things that I wonder about myself later. Why did I do this? But people find them interesting and funny. And, you know, we all need cheering up, so you might want to check it out. And let's see, one more thing. Oh, yes, I have a fan page, Venus Andrecht. I have a friend page, but I don't use that one. That has a bunch of my names on it. Just use the one with Venus Andrecht. I'm on Pinterest, Flickr, YouTube, etc. Heather's doing a great job for me. She's got an ad running on my show on one of the breaks here. She has a website where she helps you set up websites and do things for you like she does for me. So please check her out. I'm very happy with her. 3i Studio, something like that. All right, let's do this. Let's get to work, shall we? I've got some callers here, and I want to talk to them. before I do that, I just got to read you this short email about another radio caller. She called a few weeks ago or more ago, and she said, well, maybe you remember her. She says, Dear Venus, I called into your radio show yesterday about my miserable husband. That's what she called him, a miserable husband. And I think she was thinking of leaving him, wasn't she? And you said you saw an itchy rash on his back and so on. Well, I just realized I think that was about me. I was so mesmerized by what you were saying, I forgot. I do have a rash on my back near my neck, and my back is always itchy for years and years. Laugh out loud, but I'm not miserable. But now I don't know what to think about him. Well, the reading I gave for him was good. I think it was accurate. What happened there was she was so close to him, and we were talking about him, and she's married to him. She bled into him, or he bled into her. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll pick up something. So I pick up that big itchy rash. It was on her back, not his. So don't worry about it. Sometimes I just do that. Okay, so let's get started here. All right, looking at the studio board here, I'm going to go with Debbie in Big Bear City, California. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Venus. How are you today?
I'm good. Probably better than you are since you're calling me, right?
I'm a little freaked, and I'm quite frankly a little scared. Yeah.
Well, tell the whole radio world, all over the world, why you're scared and freaked.
Okay, well, I connected with an old junior high school friend a couple of months ago on Facebook, and we had a high school reunion coming up.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go, even though this person makes me a little nervous. He always has.
Yeah.
But we were around a bunch of other people, so I figured, well, it's okay. So went to the reunion, had a great time, had a picture taken with this person. Well, ever since the reunion, this person will not leave me alone. I click onto Facebook, it's like there is some sort of signal. The minute I click on, he's there. He's just got the idea we're going to reconnect more than just a Facebook friend.
Okay, Debbie, you're married, right?
I am, yes.
Did you tell him
Matter
that?
of fact, he knows that. I put all the reunion pictures on Facebook, and by our picture, he says, your husband is a lucky man. You wrote the book on kindness and still hot. Your friend for life.
Wow.
Now he's got the idea. There's the homecoming game, and a big reunion picnic the following day. He's got the idea. He's picking me up and taking me to the homecoming game.
Well,
there is no way.
What, did you tell him no?
I didn't know what to say because...
You tell him no. You
I'm
tell
afraid.
him no. Debbie, you just have to tell him no. Can you go with somebody else, like a girlfriend or...
I'm thinking, yes. I did not say anything. I clicked off after that, and I am taking a girlfriend with me, yes, if I go. I go.
Yes, and just say, if I go, several, maybe 5 of my friends we're all going together or something, lie a little bit. But we need to do more than this. We need to check him out. What's his name, or what do you call him?
Jim.
Okay, Jim. Do you know what kind of work he... What?
I don't know what he does. He's 58, blonde, balding.
Okay. Is he married or single?
He's divorced.
Any kids? I see kids.
I believe he's got 2.
Yeah, okay, that's him. All right. And where does he live?
Yeah, I don't know. He says on his Facebook page, Baja, but I think he lives in Orange County somewhere.
Okay, well, I'll just go out. I'll twirl around, see if I can get him. So, Debbie, I'm going to go through you right now. How old are you, Debbie?
58.
Okay, I guess you would be if you were in class together. Okay, so here we go. We're going to look for Jim, who's, like, you're starting to feel like you're being stalked, right? Have you told your husband about this?
I haven't, no. I'm a little afraid to tell him because
I know. I feel like your husband would knock his block off or pound him into the ground or something. Is he that kind of guy?
I want to be nice. I don't want to, I'm trying not to give him signals, but at the same time, I'm trying not to let my husband know because I don't want him to think, I'm really open to this idea. I'm not. I'm
Well, I
quite
think
nervous.
that have you been talking to him on Facebook?
A little, yeah.
Well,
a little.
if you
trying to keep
if you,
it general.
Okay, if you continue to do it, I would always start out, well, my husband and I went here today, or my husband and I have such a great husband. I love my husband. You know, talk about your husband until, you know, you're entirely tired of hearing about your own husband. But now let me go find Jim, and then I'll endeavor to give you more good advice. Hang on a sec. Okay, Jim, wherever you might be, Jim. Okay, I got him. I'm coming in now. All right, Jim, I'm a friend of Debbie's. You re-met her at the high school reunion and online on Facebook. So what are you thinking about her? Yeah, well, it's pretty plain. There's nothing hidden about this. He does want you, and he thinks that you two can be a couple. It's like he doesn't even, it's like when I ask him about your husband, he just sort of brushes him aside like he doesn't even exist. It's like the years in between when you went to school together are gone. They're not even there, right? Does it feel like that to you? Okay.
Yeah. That's
it's
what
just
I think
like,
he thinks.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking. It's just like yesterday. Now, when you knew him in school, did you date him or anything?
No. In junior high, he kept asking me if I had a boyfriend, and at that point, he was still weird to me, and I was not really fond of him, and I would say yes just to make him go away.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea, and it's like time has collapsed, and you're going to have to go back to that and just say, I have a husband, I have this, talk about him. Let me see if there's any problem with him here. Let's see if you should be afraid of him. I'm looking. Does he know where you live? I suppose he does.
I believe he does, yes. He's been up here. Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me just check this out. I'm going different places when I'm looking around. It's hard to explain where I'm going, but I'm picking up information about him. Okay, Jim. Is he? You don't know what he does, but is he? I feel like he's a contractor, or does something.
Some sort of. Yes.
Okay. And he does
when he's been up here, he's worked on houses up here.
Yes, that's what I'm getting, up there. And that he's thinking that he's going to go up there again. He's going to get some work, and he's going to be around there. Then he can see you. He's got all these ideas and all these plans. So what are you planning to do with that, Jim? What are you planning to do? It's just that you guys are going to have a relationship in his mind. Okay, I'm going to talk to him. And I'm going to be him talking to himself. I'm going to say it out loud for you. Debbie's married. She's happily married. She doesn't want me. She doesn't like me that way. I have to, there's a lot of years that have gone on between us. She has a different life now. She's happily married. I need to leave her alone. I'm acting like a stalker. I need to leave her be. I need to just forget all about her. I'm getting out now. But Debbie, the strongest thing I feel is what I felt right at first. You've got to start saying no. You've got to be very firm. You've got to talk about your husband all the time. You've got to say you're going to the reunion or the Thanksgiving thing, if you do, with 5 of your girlfriends. And, you just have to be honest. Stop being nice.
Yeah, I know. It's in my nature to not,
Well, you know what? If you're too kind in your nature, that's what bad things can happen to people if they're too kind. And I understand because I've always been the same way. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. But, but when you're starting to feel uncomfortable and scared and freaky, that's your gut and probably all the spirits around you saying, cut him off at the pass. Get this stop before it goes anywhere. Because the nicer if you continue to be nice to him and polite and all that, it's just going to drag it out, and he'll have more and more hope, and you'll have more and more trouble.
If I do that, I'm afraid, is he going to rebel or come back with a vengeance? I mean,
you know what you might say? My husband was looking at my computer the other day, and he saw all this stuff from us, and he's upset. And my husband is 6'9", and he's a big bruiser. I'm very happy with my husband, but he doesn't want me corresponding with anybody. like from my high school. Or you could make something up or say something. I think I'd put the scare into him.
Okay.
And if he doesn't take the hint, the heavy hint, then I tell my husband and say, I'm scared about this guy. I haven't done anything, But nip it in the bud. Nip it.
Okay.
I would say I'm happily married, and then just not answer some of his stuff. And if he persists, then I would say my husband's been looking at my computer. And then I think I'd use that as a second tactic. My husband found this and he says yada yada.
Well, it actually got to the point on my Facebook, I turned off the chat. So Good. So I wouldn't get put in the situation of answering or not answering. So
okay, then can you just disappear? Can you just disappear, Debbie?
Yes, I can do that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, disappear for a while. All right. Well, let us know how you're doing. All right, darling.
Venus. Thank you very much.
All right. Wait a second. Huh. I have a feeling here. I need to do a mojo. Okay, for everybody out there, if you need this mojo, get in line. What I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to take some energy and just push him back, okay? So if anybody has anybody in their lives you need to have pushed back away from you, to leave you alone, to let you be, this is not energy that will hurt the person or that will hurt Debbie's friend Jim. It's just a neutral energy to push them away, to push them into other avenues, other interests, other things get their good attention. Boom! Woo! Bam! 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 Mojo! Woo! 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 Mojo! Woo! Woo! Okay, now, Debbie, I'm going to throw a ring of fire around you like I like to do. Woo! 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 Bam! 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 That's to protect you.
Wow, okay. Okay.
All right, darling. Thanks for the call. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Thank you, Venus. Bye-bye.
All right. Looks like I need another short break. I'll come back, take more of your calls, do whatever we do. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking for help with your online marketing? Or do you need a beautifully designed custom website that you can edit yourself at an affordable price? Contact Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. She will make it happen for you online, from website design, branding, social media, to getting found on the internet. You can reach Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. Heather's professional and fair and has many happy clients from small and mid-sized businesses. Find her at StudioThirdEye.com. That's Studio, ThirdEye.com. Or you can email intuitiveinternet@gmail.com and tell her what you need to accomplish. Heather will make it easy for you.
Venus thinks the world needs cheering up. Let me tell you, her blog certainly does that. Every week it's a true story about her life and the people in it. Here are a few comments. Oh, thank you. I am laughing so hard. Every Wednesday it's great to start my day like this. And love, love, love to read your blogs. You always make my day. I have emailed your blogs on to many people this year. And your blogs are profound, prophetic, and wise. They make me laugh and cry and everything in between. And, okay, Venus, I almost spewed coffee out of my nose reading this one. Too funny. By the way, her family subscribes to her blog for their own protection. You can subscribe too. Just look for the orange-colored feed at the top of the blog. You can find the latest and often harrowing adventures in Venus's life at godisalwayshappy.com/blog. That's godisalwayshappy.com/blog.
I'm Venus's daughter, Summer McStravick, and I hope you can join me for my online radio show, Flow Dreaming. Visit my website, flowdreaming.com, for all the dates and times it plays. That's Flow Dreaming. I hope to see you there.
Where soul meets body.
Venus's brother-in-law, Dr. Ron Myers, looks inside people and guides them with their health. He's called the Insight Doctor. Because of the economy, for a short time, Dr. Ron is making a phone consultation with him available for only $99. For information, please email Venus's sister Polly, Dr. Ron's wife, and tell her a bit about your health issues and ask about a consultation. The email address is insightdoctor@yahoo.com. That's spelled insight, INSIGHT, doctor, DOCTOR, @yahoo.com.
Did you know that Venus does private phone sessions where she digs into the problems or concerns you have with people in your life? These issues can be with men, women, or children, and they can be dead or alive. Venus works to give you a better understanding of what people are thinking about you and your problems. By doing this, she gives you knowledge and peace of mind. Venus also works to help change situations and bring good things into your life after each phone session. After the clock is turned off, Venus does something extra special for you. She asks the high beings to bring through a personal mojo, just for you. Something they feel you may need in your life to make things better. For Venus's rates, how she works, and to set up a session, please go to GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. That's GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. If you really want and need to know about someone or something, email Venus now.
You can reach Venus for your own private reading by visiting GodIsAlwaysHappy.com and using the contact form to reach Venus. You can also enter to win a free psychic reading with Venus by signing up for her blog or newsletter at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. Venus draws winners' names each week. Plus, you can follow her very interesting life. That's GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hey, welcome back. I was looking at the chat line or chat room over here, and everybody says, block that guy out. Block him. You know, be firm. Tell your husband. So I think probably Debbie's got it. All right, today, let's see, before we get to the calls, I've got a postcard coming out. If you're on my email list, you'll get it in your email. It's got one of my mojo paintings on it, full of good mojo energy. It'll be out Thursday, September 27th, and that's the one where Dolly Phoenix won a reading with me, and she shares in the postcard how she got me to call her name on the show, because as you know, every show I do call a name for a free 10-minute phone reading with me. And, getting her name called was kind of a coup, and she's going to tell you how she did it, how she managed to make that happen. So you want to look for that postcard. And also you want to be on my most current mailing list, because that's the one where I pull the names for free readings. And the way you know if you're on the current list is when you go to my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com, you look for the blue headphones, click on those, you get a free MP3 mojo that you can play over and over, and you also get on the most current mailing list. So the winner today, ta-da-ta-ta, for a 10-minute reading with me on the phone is Letta Goolsby, L-E-T-A, last name Goolsby, G-O-O-L-S-B-Y. And Letta, you need to let me know, because this is only good through October 1st, 2012. After that, it's null and void. Also, I'm looking for show ideas. You know, this is my 9th year on the radio. I'm in my 9th year on the radio. I can't believe that. But I always need new show ideas, and I love it when you send me ideas. I've got a lot set up for next month that you've given me. So go to my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You can reach me through there. Shall we get started here? Let's go over to the board and see what other exciting things, exhausting things are happening to people. Let's go with Sandy in Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee, Florida, Sandy. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So, Sandy, what are we going to do with you today?
Oh, it's my dad. I just want to have you get inside his head and tell me what he's thinking about what all's going on.
Okay, well, we've got a big radio show here, and they want to know details, and I need a few so I can grab a hold of him. So why don't you tell me your dad's name, how old he is, what he does for a living, and what's going on? What kind of thing do you want me to ask about?
Vernon, and he's 87, and he's setting up his estate.
Okay.
And he doesn't get along with me too well.
Ooh, okay. But you have other siblings?
One, and he's greedy.
Grady? Have I talked to you before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you. I mean, I remember your feel.
And I just went this weekend to talk to him, and I don't know where it's at,
Okay. And his name's Vernon, right?
Yes.
And he's in Tallahassee, too?
No, he's in Canton, Georgia.
Okay, Sandy, how old are you? What do you do for a living?
60, and I'm currently not employed.
Okay, what did you used to do?
Telecom.
Okay. It just helps me to get a firmer grip on you. So I've got Sandy now. I'm going to go find Vernon. Sandy. Let's go find your daddy, Vernon, 87 in Georgia, right? Georgia. Vernon, hello. I'm calling for Vernon. They sort of appear to me the same way that dead people do. Not much difference sometimes. Dead people feel as alive as we do. Okay, I think I've got Vernon. Vernon. Has Vernon ever worn suspenders and short-sleeved shirt?
Yes.
Oh, that's him then, okay. Hi, Daddy, I gotcha. Okay, Vernon, I want to come and talk to you if you don't mind. Does he also maybe not shave as much as he should or could? He's got some stubble-ish. Does he let that go? Do you know?
Does he what?
Like, does he have stubble on his face? Does he not shave a lot or something?
No, he shaves all.
Well, I'm getting the sense that he looks like he's dressed really well, but it's like I get the feeling he's not taking as good a care of himself as he might.
That's probably true.
Okay, Vernon. Sandy sent me to talk to you, your daughter Sandy. And I know you've got a son named Grady, right, Sandy? Grady?
No, okay. Robert.
Robert, where did I get the word Grady? Did you mention that
I don't
word?
know.
Okay, well, I don't know either. Woo, 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 woo. I swear I thought I heard you say that. Okay, Vernon, I hear you're pulling your estate together, you're making your will. I think Sandy's asking me, does she fit into this? Are you going to leave her anything? Isn't that right, Sandy? Is that your question?
Well, it's not only that, it's just, I feel like he's pulling my chains.
You mean to make you worry about it?
Well, the thing is he is one of these people that uses money to manipulate people.
Okay. So tell me exactly what you want me to ask him, or I'm liable to spend the time getting what you don't want.
Okay, just basically, what is he going to do? Is he going to make my brother the trustee? Does he really trust my brother?
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm back, Vernon. So, are you going to make Robert the trustee, and do you trust Robert? Do you trust Robert? I'm looking here. It's hard to keep looking and listening when I have to keep talking because I'm on the radio. Okay, Robert, how do you feel about Robert? And he feels like he's smarter than the both of you, by the way.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that?
Well, if he does, then...
Well, that's just something in passing. He thinks he's smarter than you kids, that he knows more about things or about stuff. Because you asked me, does he trust Robert? And he said he's smarter than the both of you. For whatever reason, he said that to me, okay? So, are you going to make Robert the trustee? That was the question, Vernon. Well, he's looking carefully at it. He's thinking about it. Is your mom passed over?
No, she has not.
Because I'm seeing this woman, he's thinking about, but she must be really old too. He's thinking about a woman, but it's not you, that he's thinking he could trust more than anybody. And would that be your mother? And
my mother, he can't put her in as a trustee if he does an irrevocable.
Okay.
I
just see a woman, and it just confused me because I'm thinking, well, gosh, she's probably so old too that how could that work? And it's a big job. I keep looking at Robert. He's spending a lot of time thinking about Robert. But is there something about Robert that your father's uneasy about? Like, did your brother have trouble with drugs or something that was out of line that your father didn't approve of? Or something about your brother that your father... is there something about your brother that makes him uneasy?
Well, probably the same thing that makes me uneasy. He doesn't manage his affairs very well.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I do.
Okay, but there's something, he keeps looking at Robert, but there's something about Robert that troubles him. And I thought, I got the word drugs because somebody who's on drugs, they're not mentally all right, you know?
My older brother, whose dad was on drugs, you know?
Oh, God, maybe I'm seeing him and he's here too. This has been a weird day of readings, I'll tell you. I'm getting strange things today. Okay.
My brother Gary.
Pardon me?
That would be my brother Gary if it were.
Oh, maybe that's where I got the word Grady with the G or something. Grady, Gary. Interesting. Okay, well, I think he's here. He's just here. Okay. I'm trying to get the answer for Sandy, and you guys are fuddling me up here. Now, Gary, is there something you want to say that you want to add to this? You know, he's on your side. Your brother, he's not, his mind is okay now, and he's on your side. He thinks you're the one most able, most capable, but he said because you're a woman and because you are so capable, for some reason, you rub your dad the wrong way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like you and your dad in some ways are a lot alike. Maybe you wouldn't want to say yes to that.
Well, we're both intelligent. That would be a good one.
That's a start. But there's some things about you two that just don't rub right because it's like you know each other real well. You know aspects of each other really well. I don't have time to get into it here, but this whole thing, the more I look at it, the more confusing it gets. So back to your father, Vernon. So what are you going to do, Vernon? What are you going to do? You know, I think he's still tossing it around in his head. I don't think he has the answer quite yet. And I think that part of him likes to make you feel off balance. Like
feel what?
Make you feel off balance, not let you know what he's planning. He likes to keep you off balance a bit. He likes to keep
he always
the upper
has that.
He likes to keep the upper hand, and I see a checkerboard. He likes to out-checker you or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they showed me. So I don't...
The thing is, tell him is he cannot trust my little brother. He cannot trust.
All right, let's do that. Okay. I can trust Sandy. We don't always get along. We have our issues, but I can trust Sandy. She's got a good level head on her shoulders, just like me. She's smart like me. She'll take care of things. She'll make the right things happen. She'll take care of her brother. She'll do the right thing. I have to hand it to her. She'll do the right thing. I don't need to out-checker her. I don't need to have the last word here. I'm going on to a new place at some point. I don't need to show her anything. I don't need to upset her. That's foolish at this time in my life. I need to just give this to her, let her be the one that runs this. I need to really think on this and come to this right conclusion. Okay, I'm out of his head now. I'll tell you what. He makes me feel all confused. Does he do the same to you?
Sort of. What he does, he just he uses his money to get me to do things, and this is what he can't do, and he knows he can't.
And
it angers him and angers my mother.
And everybody. And everybody's in on it, like your brother Gary, too. And it's like your father has not made a decision yet. because of all these things you mentioned that I mentioned. And so I would expect more of the same unless my talking to him brought a change of heart. Sometimes that happens. Let's do this, because this man's wearing me out. Let's do a mojo on. Yeah, it wears you out too?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a mojo for you and the situation, and for everybody out there who has any other complex situations or problems with relatives or family. What we're going to do here, we're going to end the show with this, is we're going to do a mojo to clarify, clear up situations so the best comes about for all concerned. Sound okay? Here we go. Woo, 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 woo. Big whirlwind, clearing it out. Woo, 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 woo. Good stuff coming in. Bam, 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 bam. Mojo, mojo, mojo. Woo, 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 woo. All right. There you go, everybody. I hope you'll come back next week for our next show, Where the Men Are. In the meantime, check me out on my blog, Facebook page, Pinterest, Flickr, all those places. I'm everywhere. And I'd love you, and I'll love to see you again next week. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.